that, of course, is a story for another day, and I'll see you, and we'll talk about that down the road.
Welcome, wrestling fans. You got the show Bill Schuyler here for One Wrestling Presents the NXT Nation. Let's get right into it. September 14th, Wednesday night, NXT. We open up with Samoa Joe coming down to ringside to cut a very personal, self-deprecating, apologizing moment in his career here for NXT. Samoa Joe saying that he was a monster for the past year, that he had choked out enemies and destroyed friendships, was the exact quote I believe Joe made here on NXT. Basically saying that he had to look in the mirror and see the man standing before him, and that he was able to recognize the errors that he made, and asked for Shinsuke Nakamura to come down to the ring. Well, he didn't really ask. He said he basically demanded that he come to the ring, that he was not going to leave until Shinsuke Nakamura made his way out here to the ring. This brought to me, well, it really, I was nervous. This was the type of situation that occurred with Samoa Joe throughout his tenure in TNA Impact Wrestling. Joe would be a monster heel one moment, and then creative would change it around, and Samoa Joe would then become a babyface. Back and forth they would jerk this man's career for, again, his entire run after he initially had won the title down there, and then he had his feud with Kurt Angle, and then after that, creative was all over the place with Samoa Joe. And I'm like, my God, this is what they're going to do here in NXT now. Well, Shinsuke made his way to the ring, and with Joe and him going back and forth, and Shinsuke doing his whole kind of crazy maneuvers like that, it tells him that the rematch accepted. Joe goes to leave the ring. Joe stops. He rushes right back over to Shinsuke, who right away is in a defensive posture. And all Joe does is put out his hand for the handshake. Shinsuke Nakamura looking to do the Macho Man Mega Powers handshake. Yes, and they would shake hands. Whew. Samoa Joe would leave the ring. Shinsuke thanking the fans, bowing to the fans, doing his whole thing. Makes his way up the ramp, signing off for Shinsuke Nakamura, bows to the crowd, and Samoa Joe comes out of nowhere and bang! He takes Shinsuke Nakamura down. He throws him, runs him down the ramp, throws him into the ring. Boom! He hits the ring. And then Joe starts, he throws some quick jabs, starts connecting with the fist. Shinsuke tries to do what he can, but he just cannot stop the Samoan submission machine. Joe throws the steel steps over, takes Shinsuke basically up in a rock bottom, and boom, throws him down into the steel steps. Shinsuke Nakamura is injured. He is hurt. He is not getting up off the floor. The referees make their way down. They're trying to break it up. They're trying to get Joe off of him. And Joe just sits there and tells him, he goes, I did this to you. I did it. They break it up. They get Joe out of there. They make the sign for the X, which of course means that this is a serious injury. Get the gurney down there. They get the gurney down there. They get Shinsuke in the neck collar. They put him up on there. They get him all wrapped up. They're doing the whole schnoz on this. And William Regal makes his way down, and he looks upset. He looks pissed. And they get Shinsuke up, and he is not looking good. He looks to be in severe pain. And then we're to our next match. We get a women's match. Liv Morgan going up against Rachel Fazio. Fazio, really? Going with Rachel Fazio is what they're going with. Rachel Fazio is none other than Rachel Ellering. She is Paul Ellering. That's right, of the Authors of Pain and Road Warriors. Precious Paul Ellering. That's right. This is the whole reason that Paul made his way back into the WWE universe. Why he's here in NXT is to look out for his baby girl, Rachel. This was a bumpin' ugly match between Liz and Rachel. Neither one of these, and Rachel Ellering, Rachel Fazio, she's at a point here in her career, she is still in developmental. Liz is supposed to be above that, and this match did not look good for Liz Morgan. It was not a pretty picture. Match over. Liz Morgan wins. She goes into a rant here where she says that that you just tapped the hell out, Rachel, and she calls out Asuka. Liz Morgan says she wants to face Asuka for the title. Sweetie, you're not ready to face Asuka in a checkout line at Hot Topic. All right, Asuka will eat you for breakfast. Okay, you are not anywhere near ready to even mention Asuka's name, let alone get in the ring with her. Please, NXT, do not allow these two women to be in the same ring at the same time. If you have any hopes for pushing Liz Morgan anywhere past this match, do not allow her to face Asuka in any way. Next up, we have Drew Gulak going up against the man formerly known as Kenta, Hideo Itami. Great match between these two. They let Drew Gulak get in everything that he can. They let Hideo Itami continue to develop and return from the injury to his shoulder. And you got one hell of a match from Drew Gulak. Drew went after Itami right away with his grind and grapple style. He would lay into Itami with some massive chops, and things would go back and forth, and Gulak, ever being Drew Gulak, just open palm slaps Hideo Itami. And Itami hits him right back. And again, back and forth action. Hideo Itami eventually working his way, hitting him with that hesitation drop kick into the corner. And then the fans chanting for the GTS. And NXT allows him to once again use the move made famous by one CM Punk. Up in the air, go to sleep, Drew Gulak, and your winner would be Hideo Itami with the GTS. Speaking of precious Paul Ellering, Paul makes his way out to ringside with the Authors of Pain. They're going up against Jobber number 1 and Jobber number 2. And they would just completely and utterly destroy these guys. I mean, yeah. Paul made another tag team famous by destroying jabronis in seconds, the Road Warriors, and they're looking to do this here with the Authors of Pain. And they would go through both of them and practically kill a man in the ring with an assisted power bomb for the win. Authors of Pain. The one guy decided he was going to hit the high road and get out of there as they were beating his partner into submission. And they were like, snatches that guy up, brings him back in the ring, and they're like, you're going to get the same thing your partner's getting, pal. And they just destroy these guys. Beautiful, beautiful squash match by the Authors of Pain. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. And then we get No Way Jose versus Bobby Roode. Oh, that's right. You know Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode, glorious. And the crowd is into it, and they are singing this song, and they're completely behind Bobby Roode, who of course is supposed to be the heel. And this of course occurred at the last special for NXT. And we get No Way Jose, who puts on a pretty strong defense against Bobby Roode, and it would go back and forth, but Roode, of course, was going to do what he does best, and that's beat guys up, pin them in the middle of the ring, and then make his way back to the limousine, off to the Learjet, and business as usual. And nothing different was going to happen here. New finisher, thankfully, an implanted DDT, which would give Mr. Roode the win and would end NXT for the week. Now, speaking of Bobby Roode, his former tag team partner, James Storm, is officially a free agent as of today, September 15th. Tweeted it out all over the world to see that James Storm was ready. And we all know that James Storm left NXT's brief occurrence that happened to go back to TNA. Things didn't really pan out in TNA, although he had a great run, and that run was with Bobby Roode as they reunited Beer Money. But once Bobby Roode left TNA for NXT, James Storm is kind of left in a creative limbo. They really weren't pushing him. They weren't putting him anywhere near the title. And I think it would be smart business for NXT to re-sign one James Storm. And once that happens, the show will be sure to let you fans know that he is back in the family here at NXT. There's really been no other big news for NXT. There's been no big signings. So with that, I am the show. Follow me on Twitter at YouGotTheShow. And, you follow, of course, here at One Wrestling, the one, the only Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling. With that, fans, I will see you at the matches, and I will catch you down the road.